Somewhere, not on K2, but clearly close, individuals sit and work. There's much to do here. Phase 1 is already complete. Phase 2 under quick production. And Phase 3 will be along shortly. A figure moves, low and slow, dragging a large bag behind them. The bag, held by a second individual, moves, writhes, twists. It's placed in a corner next to a row of strange, almost coffin-like inserts into a wall on one side of whatever strange metal bastion this is. And across the room, dimly lit in an off glow, a figure is held in hollow light. A figure bedecked in corrupted marine armor. You were correct, of course. I encountered them, though only half. The other two were perhaps caught in the ambush. Sorkesh does bloody work. Another voice, hidden in the shadows, speaks. And you, then? Oh, I fought my erstwhile cousin. Quite the swordsman. Amateurish, impassioned, but... And you made me retreat. Next time I'll take his head. Patience. All things in time. Proceed accordingly. We are approaching critical mass. All things in time. Hydra Dominatus. Hey friends, welcome back to By a Shadow of Peace. It's me, Foxy, who runs the show and does the mystery things and makes my friends concerned about what's happening around them. And speaking of those friends, I have 3 incredibly inquisitive souls, 3 wonderful individuals, 3 devoted acolytes of his holy ordo, deployed to the planet of K2 to, well, originally just deal with some missing taxes and tithes, but it seems like it's gotten a little bit beyond that, yes? But before we do that, let's check in on who those friends are and let them tell you a little bit about what they've been going through the past few days. So, let's keep it that. Let's do that, actually. Friends, what did I call you? Why don't you tell me who you are, who you're playing today, and tell me what I've put you through the past 3 or 4 episodes, if you don't mind. And let's start on the simple end with Turk.
You know what? That's fair. Normally, someone calls me simple, and I have to have words with them. But not only will I let that slide, I'll absolutely agree to it. Because, hey everybody, I am Turk, or Turk Accented, if you've been approved by a doctor and had a moment to speak with your priest, or other relative head figure in your religion. I am, of course, excited to be here, but also I'm excited to once again be taken into the giant tactical boots of Zadkiel Delos, your space marine from the Lamenters chapter. What he has gone through has been, as I said, fairly simple compared to the other two. I think the first, of course, being that his chapter's whole purpose in being created was the hopeful elimination of the quote-unquote negative aspects of the original chapter that he had come from, being the Blood Angels and their the Red Thirst and the Black Rage. Those should have been suppressed and or eliminated entirely with his chapter's founding. He has learned very quickly now, for some reason, after many years of service, not having an issue, that he is falling into the same red thirst that has plagued the Blood Angels for some time. So he has some things to figure out. Clearly something about him is failing, and he is wrong and bad and should feel terrible. In addition to that, there has been Chaos Astartes traitor brothers of his, or cousins, I guess, more appropriately, that he was able to identify that the weaponry used in assassinations against the government officials on this planet were from Astartes, which has thrown doubt onto him, doubt and concern onto himself from some other officials, while at the same time causing him concern that this could either be an Astartes operation of some kind, or worse, and that has now been confirmed, that a Chaos chapter, or again, not a true chapter, as we had actually just discussed before the call, is active here. And as you just saw in that scene, we are dealing with the Alpha Legion, which he had a roaring good time. I think his most pressing concern now is not the increased blood flow out of his body, but rather the immense trauma his body and armor have undergone and will likely need to be repaired with some downtime, because he will not die from these wounds, very likely, but he will be inconvenienced until they are addressed. So he's not ready to get into combat just yet, which is truly the worst thing the Foxy's ever done to him. I'm just kidding. Anyway, that's enough out of me. Let's get on to the people who have actually been dealing with some stuff.
What a great succinct summary of what's happened to you so far, and thank you for that, Turk. Let's slide on over to which of you feels like we'll do Michelle next. Michelle, tell me how I've made you suffer, and also who you are and who you're playing and all that, you know?
Okay, alright, cool, fine. Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm playing Aria Yun Contour, our sister hospitale of the Order of the Silver Dawn. Let's go in order, shall we? So, it wasn't too bad. Only survivor of a campaign where, some heretics summoned a demon, and now she's got a demon in her stomach, which wasn't the worst, but then in the ambush she got shot through the chest. But fine, that's just physical trauma. But we've got a demon. So she may or may not have been, I guess, mentally tortured by a demon for the past. I don't know how long it took for the ambush to last, and she slaughtered everyone in their way. And also probably does not know this, actually, because I'm fairly certain Aria is kind of unconscious right now.
Don't you worry. You'll know soon enough.
It's fine. It's fine.
Then-
At least you didn't kill Bars too. That would have been bad.
True.
It's fine. Everything's fine. It's fine.
Another great and succinct summary of all the horrible things I've put you through so far. Thank you, Michelle. And lastly, speaking of horrible things that I've put my players through. Hi, Meg. How are you?
Hi, Foxy. I'm doing grand. How are you doing tonight?
I can't complain too much, honestly. Things are doing all right. Why don't you tell the people who you are, who you're playing, and what all the wonderful gifts I've given you in this campaign.
Hi, everybody. I am Meg, and/or Meg Mysteria, and I get the honor of playing Lara Talon, or rather known as her true name being Edovara Telone. And, well, outside of having to, generally presenting her as human despite being Eldari, she got in touch with her situationship on behalf of Aria to, get a hold of some Blackstone to rid Aria of her demon situation, because that's Aria's toxic situationship. So we're gonna help Aria out with that problem. And in, trying to get to the spaceport and getting ambushed and having to separate and get to the spaceport where we were ambushed by, Turk's Zadkiel's situationship. Everybody's a situationship now. That's just what it is.
It's not a situationship when your cousin tries to kill you.
It's a situation.
It's a situation. It's
It's a situation.
It's not a situation. It's a sit
I will
rep.
concede to that. It's a sit rep. I'll accept that. It's a sit rep.
Or as the pros in the community would call it, a bat rep.
But we dealt with that. The unfortunate thing is that we were supposed to be meeting Laura's situationship, Valir. Well, we got there, and Thok had nearly killed Valir, and he was on death's doorstep by the time we got there. So, yeah, while Zadkiel and Thok started their fight, Lara had to basically say goodbye to Valir, and Valir disintegrated and turned into a rock. This is not the first time I've had a boyfriend turn into a rock.
You're welcome.
But that's not the worst of it, everybody. That's not the worst of it, because well, you know, the fight started. I had to help Zadkiel because Zadkiel was getting his ass kicked, and you know, so regeneration was in order. Helped him with that. But also Aria was being consumed by a demon. Had to help with that.
A little bit. Only a little bit.
Had to help with that. So we took our boyfriend Rock and we put him in a thing to help power the Blackstone.
Boyfriend Battery.
Boyfriend Battery Rock. Boyfriend Rock became a boyfriend Battery and powered Blackstone. And, you know, we charged the Blackstone. But to get to Aria, we had to drain the rock of Valir's soul. And basically sacrifice him to Slanesh. So, you know, offered my boyfriend to a god to be devoured for the rest of eternity. Here you go. Sorry.
I'm sure he's fine. Don't worry about it.
He's okay. He said he was okay. He said it was okay. In his soul passing on. He said it was okay.
Look, they're called the perfect prince.
It's true.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Like I said, I'm sure he's having a great time.
He said it was okay, and you know, we got the aura out far enough to save Aria, so it's okay. It worked out.
Well, shit, friends. I was gonna do like here's a brief summary of last session or two, so everybody can know what happened. But
I took over your job.
Yeah, y'all kind of got it, to be honest. I don't gotta do shit. All right, so friends, I'm Foxy. I run the game, and last time that stuff all happened. So let us set ourselves back into the scene very simplistically. As the camera pans low over the skyline of Kata 2, rust red in the low approaching evening. The spaceport, Arctis spaceport, still remains mostly silent. But as the front of the still damaged spaceport slowly pulls away, just barely shifted open by the massive bulk that is the wounded Space Marine in front, we see two figures emerge. One, a battle-damaged Zadkiel, armor scored and scarred with blade marks in 1,000 different places. cabling running loose, wiring slick oil in his own blood running down over the pleated plates, yellow stained over with sick browns and stained copper reds. Behind him is Lara. Human disguise abandoned, elongated Eldari features showing the full nature of her Xenos persona to the entirety of the world around her, though there is no one currently to watch. And while physically she appears far less injured than Zadkiel, internally, well, that might not just be the case. Friends, you know, or at least Lara, you know, something went wrong back at the ambush site. At a mad sprint, it took you all a couple hours to get here. At the pace you can best keep with how injured Zadkiel is and how, let's say, not focused on the current moment you might be, it's gonna take you a fair bit longer than that. Probably about the rest of the day. You could probably, if you're lucky, make it there by late nightfall.
Can we try comms? I'm not sure if my equipment built around and in my armor is survived with enough functionality, but I figure at least Lara is.
Your Vox bead, which you would know is actually one kind of like a pseudo implant for you at this point, is functioning enough that you can definitely still send out and receive very basic transmissions. The range is buggy at this distance. You're a little far out. But as you send out just some very quick standard battle tab comms, looking for anything, you can hear a very garbled opening on the channel, and a voice very, very faintly just, here, Aria's hurt, but, and that's all you get.
And I asked what's going against a guy named called the Headspin, so I figure anything around my my chin or neck might be at risk. But I'll transmit as much of we're on our way as I can. Remain in place.
You get a garbled sort of chunk of Vox back. It's too messy to get actual word out of it, but the length of it sounded like it was a lot closer to affirmative than negative. So,
question on some 40k lore: do they still have oh gosh, now I'm gonna forget like a Morse code sort of system?
Yes.
Is that like remain similar, kind of same? In that case, if we can't communicate, I'll just put stay through just like opening and closing of the channel, basically.
Yes.
So they're just gonna get static.
The canonical term for that is called Vox clicking.
Perfect. I'll just like, because static is all we're gonna get. Opening, closing, just stay.
Mm-hmm. And it takes a little, and the response you get back is much less crisp and precise than you think you're used to hearing from like your Authorities brethren. Mm-hmm. But it is a very simple affirmative twice click followed by one single click, indicating affirmative, understood.
Good. They will.
That said, we pass you back over to just you and Lara, beginning the long journey back towards the resting Goliath, as the sun sits amber orange in the sky and the clouds rust red hang above you. I'm done seeing said, and you're off to you.
They will remain in place. We will likely not reach there till nightfall, as it'd be best not to push any injuries. Larman's organ provides benefits, but not too great, unfortunately.
You could have let me heal you.
You have pushed yourself to an extent. I am prepared to recognize this, Laura. The sister will have more adept skills at recognizing my physiology. Even with magics and psychic talents, it will take time, and you should rest yourself. I'm not blind to the effect it can have on you. And until danger presents itself, we have no reason to rush my recovery. Will you be able to make the distance?
Easily.
Convenient. I will not have to carry you then. I fear much of my armors relying completely on my own movement at the moment. I'm not sure how much excess weight I can take.
Are you calling her fat? It's so rude.
I'm calling her excess weight.
I have not sustained any physical injury.
I have seen librarians who have gone full battles and collapsed, and yet not seen a shot graze their cheeks. Do not think me a fool, Eldar. Your mind.
I thought of
Oh, go for it. Sorry.
something that you might find funny.
Humor? Interesting. I did not take you for a harlequin.
I think we are in a unique position where I might be the one more capable of combat than you are.
And that... it brings out this, like, singular short, I've seen this trend now of, like, pushing all the air out of your lungs, then trying to scream, and just add this very, like, pitiful, like, you know, like, just a... It's more like the congealed blood meant to prevent, meant to aid clotting is, like, sitting too much in his throat, and, I think anyone sees either of us as we are now, they will know better than to even try. And as for your approximation of our combat potential, I will not honor that with an official response. I am glad that we could join each other as blood brethren now. It is tough being so critical on you, not knowing what you could do.
I didn't think that you would see me as something other than scum.
I have been alive a long time. I am sure that means nothing to you, given your race's age, but My chapter is not so blinded by Imperial doctrine to not acknowledge help when it comes. What I do, what I have to be now, is better. I must meet the inquisitorial expectations of duty. Which means treating you as you have said. The Eldari have been our allies against many foes, and our enemies. But it would be foolish to discard one half of our history for the other, simply because of a difference in biology and origin and history and religion. Hell, you know, I don't know, maybe I should kill you now.
Part of me wants to see the effort made. Only because I think the struggle would be amusing. And it's very much like there is a smile. Like, genuinely finds it humorous.
You would be a wreck of chaos energy.
I think that this thing with the Blackstone is kind of throwing off because it is affecting like the warp energy around her. It is kind of shifting things with her.
It's actually a very good reminder, as I didn't get to mention it. Zadkiel, mag clamp to your hip around where you normally would put your bolter that you no longer have, is a small container. It's not any bigger than, say, like, I'd say it's like a bolt pistol size container, cylindrical in nature, which you were able to slot the Blackstone shard into. And Zad, how much you know about Blackstone is up to you, but you're perfectly able to see that, like, while you're able to touch it, move it, grab it, no issue, even you were able to tell that the closer Lara is to that thing while it's not sealed, the less comfortable she seems. While it's sealed, mostly okay.
I'll say Zadkiel's knowledge of Blackstone is primarily Eldar crazy about the stuff. And it's a useful resource for Sakers in general. He is not really delved too much into the librarians and their work, so yeah. Does it make you uncomfortable? The Blackstone. Shall I conceal it somewhere else? I fear there's not many other availabilities. Also, I forgot you took away my bolt gun. I have another thing to add to my intro of how I've been traumatized.
The loss of the bolt gun.
It's a very important weapon. Stole my bolt pistol. God damn it.
You're not going to really be able to seal that away, place that won't affect me. Especially once we get it to Aria.
Hopefully sooner.
The way that it is charged, it is meant to repel warp or corrupt energy. meant to repel the demon in her, so it will repel my energy as well.
Almost makes one wish there were more of it. Would be useful as we inevitably fight more of this Alpha Legion. I was able to recognize their coloration last time, I think, right?
While the coloration was definitely, the armor patterning and coloration was not the traditional simple 20th Legion, Alpha Legion, like 20th Legion decor you would have like in the index. The warband color and the symbol is close enough that you can recognize them as an Alpha Legion break-off warband, no question.
Okay, yeah, I remember putting in my notes as like not out of character knowledge that it was all right. Cool. Just want to make sure. I think I made a roll for that. I just like, a billion years ago. They will undoubtedly have sorcerers amongst them. A shame it's as rare as it is. And a shame it incapacitates you.
If we truly find that is the best resource, we could likely contact Triton. Make another deal with him.
Too much reliance on a Necron hiding within this planet's surface like a spider in its web. He enjoys that too much as we fall into his plans. I fear what he would ask in return. His investment in this place is too shallow. Even what we know of it as a Necron 2 world, I don't believe he would throw too much import into that into his dealings. So, for the moment, our perseverance must be built within ourselves. And we should get this to Aria.
Agreed.
I think if you two feel comfortable, it's a great spot to sort of let the camera pass along with the rustling wind. Just for a moment, don't worry. We'll be back to you all in just a little bit, I promise. The camera pauses with the wind and fades. Blackness remains for a long time. You feel yourself in that blackness, Aria. You can't see. It's like there's nothing to see. No light to cast on anything. But you know you were there. How long have you been here? Moments? Centuries? Forever, maybe. But there it is. It's happened before. A few times. Maybe dozens. That quick pinprick. That brief, tiny flash. Something like light. There and then gone. There and then gone. What does this quiet feel like to you, Aria? How does it compare to the turmoil of your life? To the reality of your failure? What is this quiet like compared to the turbulent reality?
If there is a peace that the sisters preach, but they do not preach of peace, they preach of war. Perhaps peace as it's known to the Imperium is something that is find something like this. Perhaps. I don't know.
There it is again. That little pinprick of light. That momentary flash of brilliance. It's warm and annoying and comforting and irritating. It reminds you exist when the quiet of the void threatens to swallow you, submerge you in everything that is not. But there is something else there. Something below or around. It is reaching. It has too many hands, too many claws, too many eyes. It is reaching for you. Always reaching. Never resting. You aren't certain you can escape it. And there it is again. That light. What could it be? What is it supposed to be? It remains silent for a very long time, Aria. You get to enjoy this piece for so long. Something cracks it. A sound. A soft, lilting whisper first. One note upon another and another. Until slowly, shattering the cocoon of void veil all around you, is a slow, somber funerary song. An imperial hymn, humming your name in a million voices, again and again and again and again. Aria. Aria! Aria! Hey! Hey! Okay, hold on. Let's not move that neck too much. I think you threw it a bit when you fell, okay? You alive? You speaking? Come on, give me vocalization, something, soldier.
Just a pat.
Barris's head turns to the right a bit and just... Yeah, okay, that works. You were out for a while there.
Oh, was I... Are you alright? And I think Aria's gonna, like, try and... like, get up and...
Every part of your abdomen is on fire the moment you move. It's not comfortable being shot. Probably not your first time. Thankfully, the round went through and through. It seems like Barris did his best to kind of roughly tie something like a jacket around the middle of your abdomen after getting you out of your armor, which you know definitely took him a couple of hours to do by himself, probably. In fact, as the memory starts slowly filtering back into you, and it's still very hazy, you recognize a couple of things, Aria. One, the sun is in a much different spot than it used to be. As in, it's not visible in the sky at all. But it definitely was earlier.
The sun is a different spot. It's gone.
It's on the other side of the planet, turns out.
It's gone.
Where did I put that?
Gone.
Ah, yes, destroyed, gone, sent to smithereens.
I think Arya's just gonna like turn left, turn right, probably see a pile of mutilated corpses and go. Was that you?
You look left and see exactly what you describe. You look right and see exactly what you describe, and two figures looming over a dune in the horizon. One of them, the armored bulk, seems familiar enough that you're pretty certain, at least, it's someone you're hoping to see. You turn back to Barris and say, "Was this you?" And that's when you notice the third thing. Barris has been awake for probably about 7 or 8 hours straight after an adrenaline crash, keeping you alive. He is so shaky, it looks like he's going to collapse over at literally any moment.
On second thought, Arya's gonna pull. I think she's like got like a small emergency medical pack on like the side of her armor. And tell me if I'm gonna roll this with any kind of difficulty, but can I try to recover some shock from Barris?
I'm gonna say you're fine without rolling for any difficulty. So I think what this looks like is you go for your reserve pack. Barris tried to reach for like a don't, I'm fine. You grab the pack. Barris's hand meets yours at the pack, and is limp, as in he just falls over. Much the same way you did into him a couple hours ago, he just collapses. Which you can tell, just, you're a medical professional. One look over, doesn't look like there's any bleeding on him to indicate an obvious gunshot wound or anything like that. Some scratches and bruises from incidental fire, maybe. It's just exhaustion. He passed out.
Alright. It's fine. Arya's just gonna, at that point, like, move him to a slightly more comfortable position, and I guess, and then squint over at the, or a slightly more comfortable position that's also behind her, so she's, just in case the people that are walking over are not who she's hoping they are.
Mm-hmm. Well, as you shuffle Barris behind you, as you manage to bring yourself up finally to a sitting position and shuffle Barris behind you, you look over at the oncoming figures on the horizon just as they begin to slowly slide down the dunes, kicking up a small wake behind them. And in the night air, as it slowly approaches, the low sort of light provided by K2's twin moons. Yeah. In fact, you are relieved to notice that it is in fact not Barris, Zadkiel and Lara. Although neither of them looks particularly well off.
First things first, triage. What can I see? What can I possibly do to assist? Well, probably stuck on the ground with a hole in my stomach.
Mm-hmm. Well, how about I let you figure that out one?
Assessing.
Mm-hmm. Why don't we?
We're assessing each other.
So let's get a sense of that. As you all approach, Aria, why don't you give me a Medicaid roll to get a sense if you can see how wounded or messed up the Zadkiel is looking. Lara, why don't you go ahead and give me I'll say it's a psychic mastery roll to see if you can sense any rankling in the warp around your dear friend. And Zadkiel, how you doing today, friend?
I am just flabbergasted by the triage.
Fair enough. I got 6 icons, but 1 on the wrath. I always get 1 on the wrath, sir.
And it makes me very happy. Thank you.
I need to stop rolling on roll 20.
We have to keep
giving me
rolling
a
on
1
roll
on the wrath
20.
die.
How else are you gonna like automatically calculate things?
Oh, that's true.
It's
Damn.
true. It's true.
You can roll 96 in your own home.
All right, so
That's the death space.
Lara, as you approach and see Aria somehow trying to rise like she's about to give you all medical attention, you notice, one, the gunshot wound that's been barely tended to in her mid-torso. 2, it is quiet around her. And I would say if you had a lesser roll, you would just say, oh, okay, cool. Black Dome works. No problem. Easy peasy. No question. It's done. Demon's gone. Taken care of. With that 6 icons and your experience, it's
Too
suspiciously quiet.
Too quiet.
Too quiet. This is not something unrankling the warp in its absence. This is a Neverborn unrankling the warp in its silence. Whatever thing has worked its way into Aria is not gone. It's just waiting for the next round. It is, however, in your mind, pretty squarely recognizing, okay, they have a trump card.
So, I think the first thing that comes up is in Arya's head, Lars going, "Don't even think about moving until I have treated you." You can deal with him in due time.
That doesn't stop Aria from mentally triaging Zadkiel's wounds at the same, just to categorize.
Oh, yes. Yeah, so getting a look back at that,
like so you get like this very mutinous thought of like I feel like whatever the sister hospitale version of the Hippocratic Oath, which is very hypocritical, is like very mutinously being like played on repeat in Arya's mind right now.
Well, Aria, then I'd say 2 things based on your knowledge of the Imperium and what you roll. Zadkiel's wounds are bad. Like, the fact that he's still on his feet with how wounded he is, and the fact that you know he definitely walked a couple hours, you are continuously amazed with the Emperor's insane feats of gene rights by creating the Astartes and what they are capable of. It's amazing he's on his feet right now. Any other man, anything less than an Astartes, would just be dead. Having said that, Zadkiel looks like he either went through an industrial processing plant or had a really, really, really bad fight with a Nostraman crag cat. And you've never seen one of those things alive.
Does Zadkiel finally get off his feet and just sit somewhere?
I'm a feat of science.
And I feel like Arya like gives Lara a look and just sort of like pushes the medical bag towards her and then points at Zadkiel. You sit down. I will treat you after I can move.
He's gonna just like oblige, I suppose.
Zadkiel angrily or defeatedly slumping down next to Arya to be treated.
Very grumpily.
Sit and like literally, it's one of those things where like you can hear all the areas in the legs that like the pistons and like stuff that normally would like support weight or whatever. It's like grinding or all this stuff. So as he bends the knee to like try and make this a central thing, eventually just thudding. And letting the mechanisms release in the legs to hopefully not have to bear weight anymore. He's not gonna bother taking a knee. Just
fair enough.
Just sit.
As the sand kicks up in a large poof, as Zadkiel, fully armored, flops down onto the sand next to Arya to be treated and triaged, while Arya herself is treated and triaged by Lara. You all find yourselves, well, sat in this space, recognizing a couple of things as a collective. One, you all just got hit pretty hard. None of you are looking, well, combat ready, to say the least, right now. However, you have gained a wealth of information. So many pieces of this puzzle are in front of you now. It's almost time to put it together. Almost. 3, you're going to need to find a town that hopefully has someone who maybe knows how to repair any kind of Astartes armor. Or at the very least, patch some rockcrete on it and hope for the best. Regardless, I want to leave you guys to figure that out after the very briefest bit of a break. So my friends at home, touch out that dial, ignore that browser. We'll be right back in about 5 or so, 10 minutes, tops, to go make sure we can take care of ourselves, refuel, defuel, and prepare to deliver our Christian to the Emperor. So we'll see you back here in that time. Take care of yourselves, each other, and we'll be right back. And we resume not to the low rolling dunes of Kata 2 and a destroyed Goliath, but to a slightly recovered party who's managed to, let's say, scrounge their way to somewhere safe. Friends, some time has passed since the ambush, as it were.
It was a really rough interview.
Interview with a bolt
It
rifle.
was. Write that down.
Long distance calls are never going.
That's Sorkesh's mixtape. Anyway, so how long it's been since is up to you all, and that will depend on the answer to this question. Where do you all go to recuperate? You have, of course, the major settlements nearby, like Mayfactorum A Secundus or Mayfactorum B Secundus, both of which are not too far major settlements you've both already been to. There are, of course, several other minor settlements, mining groups, and refining places, and storage facility colonies all over the planet. Many of which are small enough that you could easily find a place to tuck away and, be an unnoticed group there, recovering and licking your wounds. Or you could just find a random cave somewhere in the dunes. Really, it's up to you all. What do you think feels like an appropriate thing the group would do to find themselves a proper place to recuperate after, let's be kind, getting the shit kicked out of you?
Hey, Lara didn't get hit at all.
Did not.
Physically.
Physically.
I didn't get kicked, I got shot.
Okay. Well, I think Zadkill would vote to move to a space that would be easy to receive aid. And in his mind, we probably have a pretty good rapport with the Mindsync A Primus area, though obviously the governor of that having, shall we say, a very open mind at the moment probably wouldn't help the situation. And the Arcturus spaceports, while potentially good for resupplying if we're going to ask for an inquisitorial drop, but it's also clearly been a spot where any third-party group can just set up shop, because god damn it, if it's not Eldar, it's space, it's Chaos Space Marines, and frankly, I wouldn't be surprised to turn around a corner and see some kind of Tyrannid poking its head out at me,
No, that was last campaign.
Yeah, well, minor antagonist doesn't have to be main antagonist, and frankly, I think Arcturus spaceport should be bombed into a crater, and they should build something new out of it. So he would vote for one of the manufactorums or a hole in the wall somewhere.
I'm sorry, I don't know why that got me so good, but fair enough. We got one vote for A Secundus, the place we started off this whole mess in.
Things I know about Arcturus spaceport. It was used as an Eldari privateer heist location. It was under a lot of construction. It was full of chaos. 3 marks against it.
Yeah, that's not wrong.
Wherever we go, it's probably not gonna want to be there.
Reminds me altogether too much of the New Jersey Interstate.
Because on the other hand, The fact that it is the last place we want to be might also be refuge in audacity.
Ah, yeah. Well,
think
But too many bad
Against-
memories, so maybe not.
I'm not against A Secundus because that's where we'd probably get the most resources. But at the same time, that'd be where we'd run into the most people.
people
And
are-
also the place that we've definitely spotted some tails.
Yeah.
Well, the tails that you're worried about, is that the gangers? Because we've...
No, the last time I know Aria spotted some people watching us.
At least one person.
At least one person.
To be fair, I'm conservatively touching 7 feet. Oh, yeah, no, sorry. I'm 7'5". This one's clearly some kind of weirdo. And I say this one's some kind of weirdo, and I will not specify who I'm talking about. So, like...
It's me. I'm the weirdo.
We're pretty No.
We'd turn heads wherever we went.
Exactly. It's a matter of which group we're comfortable knowing where we're at.
That's fair.
So, I'm hearing 2 votes for possibly A Secundus due to resources and availability of access to things like that. Hearing at least 1 vote for the spaceport for 1 refuge in audacity, and also just because it's a good place to slink away and get some stuff. Solid thoughts either way. Anyone we're leading towards the most, just to get us moving through the scene?
I'm going to say with my Zadkiel thing, manufacturing A Secundus would be the better vote, given our familiarity and the availability of Imperial resources, should we need
Fair enough.
repairs
And
for
last
Astartes armor. I don't know. But yeah, we'll begin making...
last resort. We can always talk to Trazen.
I would rather eat a scarab.
I mean, that could be arranged.
You know
Also,
what?
Tracen's not in A Secundus.
Yeah, he's in...
Oh, he's in A Primus, right?
Yeah.
Or
No, he's in B
you don't-
Tertius, I think.
oh wait,
You don't
Wait.
know where Trazen could be, to be honest. Trazen's in here, friends. Sorry, I'll shut up
I'm
now.
trying to remember where.
To be fair, that was just a copy of the body of
Or C
Trazen.
Primus.
C
Oh,
Primus is in
C
the right,
Primus,
is in
C
the right,
Primus,
is
yeah,
in
you're
the
right.
bottom right corner. We had to cross the mountain
C
ridge to get
Primus,
to
yeah.
him,
Yeah, you're right.
which
You're
would
right.
be a lot easier to get to if we still had a vehicle.
Yeah,
True.
that's fair. Okay.
That's the truth.
Feel like
We could
truly-
get our Goliath worked on. You know, we could.
There is another Goliath we could probably requisition at A Secundus. So I think we can call it
Yeah.
A
Call it-
Secundus.
concluded.
Call it-
Look
Vote.
at y'all. Look at an
Bang.
exercise in teamwork. In any other party, that would take in 45 minutes. Great job, Brent. I'm proud of
Democracy
you. So,
preserved.
let us scene set then. We find ourselves, almost thematically, of course, returning to the busy streets of Manufactorum A Secundus. It is still a busy and messy hive, thronging with populace. Though, as you would know from your first encounter with some CP12 cartel members, the lower levels are perfect for people who need to get away from the limelight and maybe stay hidden for less scrupulous activities. All the same, you find yourselves in not necessarily the fully abandoned warehouse district you found yourselves in last time, as there you were looking for the Pacific. Here, you find yourselves in what effectively accounts for a slum hab district. It's still in a lower level, too far away to get natural sunlight, but many low, almost Pueblo-like buildings are carved into the rock faces along the sides and various several districts. Along them run sort of scrap-made structures of several different makes. Some even look like might have been broken down from some of the first starships that came down to this planet and torn down to make different shelters. You're moving through, and eventually you find yourselves a low sort of area to hug in. The small sort of, I can't call it anything but a shack. Looks mostly abandoned, and/or whoever calls this place home hasn't been back for long enough that you're certain they might not be back for a while, if they're still alive. Thus, you sit in the low dark of the, let's say, middle of the day, perhaps a week or so from where you left off. It took you a while to get the Goliath truck functioning again. You stayed there where you were at the ambush site for a good day or so while Barris worked on repairing it. Once you got it functioning, you had to move it at a crawl to make sure nothing else broke down while you got it to Secundus. Thus, it's been about, let's say, maybe 2 weeks. In that time, you've absolutely heard reports as you came into town of more bombings. Most of them have been, again, still random, but they have happened. And they continue to be a source of concern for the populace and for the ruling governors, who, as a result of, well, one of their cohort being murdered and the other suddenly becoming even more tight-lipped and shut in for reasons they won't talk about, well, they're all a lot more tight-lipped now. Well, you combine tight-lipped politicians with a upset populace and terrorist bombings, let's say things are a little bit tense around Kata 2. So here you sit in your low sort of Pueblo scrap shelter. A window to the other side gives away to the street, which in the off glow of lumen lamps, in the artificial light, you can see people moving left and right. Enough movement that no one's focusing on the low building you're calling home right now. You have choices, friends, options, and clues. What you do with them? Well, I'll stop talking and leave that with you, yes? As you were.
I will require repairs to the armor. That will require a call to the Inquisitor, at the very least, which will necessitate a report. In my current state, it is very advisable that I likely remain here. That should by no means limit the others, the other two of you. I assume Varys is like next to me, basically.
Yes. Yeah, Barris actually, thank you for mentioning that. Barris, as you all stopped and rested for a while, Barris let you know that he was going to go out and look for some basic supplies. You know, simple food and shelter and or access to talking to some people. He knows a guy who runs a scrap metal shop, and while there's not going to be any pieces of power armor in there, you might get some of the basic components, servos, and materials needed to like do some of the basic repairs to the machinery of your armor at least. Anything more serious than that, your best bet's probably calling the Inquisitor for a resupply or a maintenance team. But Barris, as of current, is off making some runs, handling gang business, seeing if he can get some basic resources for you all for, you know, stocking up for what you need, and or seeing if he can get one of his mechanic friends to work on your Goliath truck, because that thing is fucked.
Aria's armor.
As it stands, we know the main face of the threat, but not its goal, other than the infernal goals of chaos in general.
Well, before we go talking to either of the Inquisitors, it's important to discern the why, but was it just me, or was that ambush very well set up?
Our movements were very well tracked. They were clearly aware of the Eldari to have been able to attack in the method that they did, to lay that trap for us with such exceptional bait, and to know our route. A common road, to be certain, but still.
During the ambush, their leader drew me deliberately to the perfect sniping spot. They know how we fight.
It is safe to assume those of the Alpha Legion have been watching for quite a while. A sniper's scope is useful for more than simply ranging down a victim. And as much as it pains me to acknowledge, Imperial resources are sometimes easily broken into. We must consider our communications carefully. Whom we speak with, whom we know is listening, whom could theoretically be listening, who we have shared details to, and what the results have been. Our personal communications may yet be unmonitored. Short band is safest, but the necessity of us processing information amongst our larger group will put us in danger. Our details on what we have faced may be extensive, but our details on future plans may be best kept curt, outside of immediate communication. I believe the Codex Astartes would recommend radio silence in a time such as this, but we are not afforded that luxury.
No, we are not. So we know the who. If only Barris was here, we could probably get some more insight.
Barris will return in time. What we do now is to figure out the best methods to pursue in our next steps. That means using the resources at our disposal. We need rest, repair, healing, and to recoup and regain our focus. We cannot let the forces of chaos dictate the pace of this battle. We must find a way to engage them on our terms rather than theirs. Or at the very least know when they will set their next pitch. And unfortunately that means throwing a wide net of trust across the many disparate forces of the Empire. So I will not condone contacting the Necron Lord again. There are many other resources we may yet call on. Though, if there is one communication line I would trust to be encrypted sufficiently. If even possible to contact. But my plan is such. Remain here. Allow the parts of my body that can heal to heal, while I make contact with those who might be capable of repairing my armor, namely Brimrose, who I still hold faith with. Especially given that the engineering capabilities of armor repair are still upon his ship. If he can still call it his ship. What you all should do, maybe primarily you, but I would suggest contacting our contacts within governorship of this planet. It has not escaped my notice the people here are restless. And without an air of some certainty of foe, the fury of the common folk will inevitably turn inward.
So, yeah. Oh, sorry, I was going to say, GM, I have a question.
Oh, a question for me, you say?
As a result of my previous actions, which got me recruited into the Inquisition in the first place, I have a tremendous reputation with them.
Mm-hmm.
So do I happen to know anyone else in the Inquisition that we could speak with to verify what's going on?
You could definitely put out communique trying to speak to an outside Inquisitor. You would need time for one to get back to you, as there's not any that are currently in system. But it's definitely doable if you want to sort of get an outside third-party perspective on what's happening outside of Brimrose and Severin. That's definitely a thing you could do. But again, you would not get an immediate answer to that right now. But you could definitely put out that kind of communique and wait for a response and see if you can't verify some things then. Of course, such a request, nominally given your status or given your position as a subordinate, would have to go through your Inquisitor, but I can't see any reason why Brimrose or Severin wouldn't give you permission to do that. Unless they were hiding something, right?
Unless they were hiding something. Too much of a shell game. I don't think Aria is smart enough to play that kind of card, as it were. Sorry, you were saying Zedkill?
Oh god, what was I saying? I had mentioned the governor stuff already. So I was going to suggest... Oh, that's the worst. Contacting the gangers on this planet that we know to be reliable. Kronza comes to mind. It may also not be without its benefits. Though that may better be left for Barrister. Though our standing should allow us something. They have any honor in their hearts.
Still, you and I might have some difficulty speaking with gangers. Perhaps it's best to leave it to Boris.
If y'all don't mind, Lara, you've been awful quiet in this little sort of back and forth engagement as your friends speculate on what to do. Let's zoom over to you in the off corner of the room. I think you being quiet makes perfect sense given the things you've been through lately, obviously. But if you would mind, where are you in this? Your friends are right. You're pulling together the pieces. There's steps that could be taken. There's questions that need to be answered. How do you get them? What do you think should be done?
What I think should be done right now, I don't know. I think right now she's kind of tied up, and I'm gonna ask a few questions to like clarify things that
I love it when you ask questions.
I want to ask some questions to clarify some things. As for, I've been here a long ass time. I've been here a very long time on Theta 2.
You sure have. At least a century or so.
And these kidnappings, the missing people, is actually not new. The missing people, these people have been going missing for a long time. Haven't they? For like it's been actually happening. It's been happening for a little while.
It's been definitely, you would say, at least, again, it's been maybe a good I don't remember the number I gave, but I'm pretty sure it's been a good 8 or 10 years, maybe longer, since the Cicatrix Maledictum opened up. And they've been starting shortly after that. So, yeah, been a while. They've been going for a while. Ramped up recently, but they've been going for a while.
Ramped up recently, but it's been maybe 10 years. Hello, Raja. Sorry, my cat started yelling at me.
He's helping you figure it out.
He's helping me. He's giving me
He's
the
giving you
brain
clues.
cell. Giving me the brain cell. In any of that time, have any of these people shown back up, even as bodies?
So, how about you give me an insight roll real quick?
Love giving.
I'm gonna answer your question regardless. Don't get me wrong. This is for some extra help.
It is a 4.
So only one success.
No, 4 total.
Oh, 4 successes. Oh, perfect.
4
Oh, that's so much
successes.
better.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. No, you're fine. You're
Sorry,
fine.
should have clarified.
No, you're fine. That's perfect, actually. So to answer your question, as you take a moment and I assume grab the data list of kidnapping victims from whoever you can. The answer to your question is no. No one who's been kidnapped has shown back up. No one. You've not seen a single person of it. At least no one you think might be tied to this. Of all the kidnapping cases on Kata 2 that have happened over the years, yes, of course, it's happened. People have been found or, turned back up or been ransomed off, stuff like that. But for the ones that appear to be associated with, at least that means people are assuming are associated with this, no. But, as you're looking back through the list, scrolling back through the years, at least one name is familiar to you. And not familiar in terms of like, oh, I know this person. Not like that. But there's a name. The name you see is Tola Mir. That's Tolamir. And you, for some reason, that human name stands out. You've encountered so many humans over the century with so many names. And because you're at the, I'll say it out loud, because you met the difficulty value of the check I was asking for, I'll say that. You recognize that name amongst the list. At least that one name. For some reason, you remember definitely meeting and having talked with or briefly known that person. Why, of all the hundreds, if not thousands of humans you've met, that person is sticking out? You're not sure just yet. You're not remembering it perfectly. But there's something about that person that you met that for some reason is making sure that you remember them right now. And they were on the kidnapping list. Looks like probably a couple years back.
I had another question and I don't remember what it was.
That's fine. Take your time, and we'll see if we can get you back to it. So, in the meanwhile, while Lara is checking over the list, Aria and Zad, we had some thoughts on possibly contacting either Gronza or the Inquisitors or Guard Captain Rannick. What do we feel might be the course of action we want to take, if any, there?
Well, Zadkiel's plan is currently to remain here and then contact the Inquisitor and figure out a way to get his armor repaired and just kind of like sit with a bolt pistol facing the entrance to this Pueblo house, this adobo here, just like casually, like sit in the corner like Clint Eastwood style, just like wounded animal, just wait if he doesn't recognize anybody, play guard dog. But I believe he has suggested contacting Rannick, or at least the governors that we know, that being a very short list at this point, to try and get this information spread out. So, I guess to summarize, like, we could tell the governors so they can be on the lookout for chaos agents. They've been spotted nearby and are responsible for everything. To be like, oh, okay, the world's not going to shit. We're under attack, and we need to be aware. Like, citizenry and arms, and sure, like, you get some witch trials, but like, I don't know. In the cruel 40k universe, I think that might not be a terribly bad thing. Which sounds really bad. Wow. Okay. And then of course, I'll leave contacting Rannick explicitly to someone else at the moment, because I think his primary focus is on speaking to the Inquisitor, updating the Inquisitor, and getting repairs and doing that stuff. I think he wants to put himself back in fighting order, and get that set. So the other obligations and connections the group has is kind of like feeling a bit secondary to him right now.
All right. So, I'll keep this very simple. Contacting the Inquisitor for resupply is a very simplistic process. You take the communicator, which you're able to radio in, and while of course you were first answered by Severin, who looks at you and addresses you simply as Astartes, nods once, and then shifts the comm over to Brimrose. Brimrose takes a moment to address you, of course, as acolyte properly, asks you what you're waiting for, and once you request resupply, is able to coordinate your position and begin to deploy a team. It will take them a few days to get down onto planet and to get to where you are on A Secundus, but within a few days or so, which is great enough, plenty of time for you to rest and let your enhanced genealogy and biology heal up some of your more grievous wounds. In about a day or two's time, you will definitely have a team out there that can work on your armor, and a day or so after that, we'll have it functional. Will it be good as new? Fuck no, of course not.
The lovely R&D of 40k. But while I have Brimrose on the line, I do want to, in addition to my request, I do bring reports.
See?
Before I begin, I understand you are under observation.
We all are these days.
Is this line secured? Can it be further secured?
You'll see Brimrose look to either side, and then kind of wave a hand to someone clearly off screen. There's a moment. Encryption engrams Iran. Running a scrap code cycle on the conversation for now. You have 3 minutes until Severin notices.
Our foes are a traitorous Astartes Legion. If my identification of their heraldry are correct, the Alpha Legion, offshoot of them, at the very least.
The 20th. Snake work. What could they be doing here?
From what we've discovered, kidnappings, assassinations, and bombings. Things that are destabilizing the framework of this, of every single manufactorum or mind sink on this planet. Even now, entering into the place I am currently stationed, it was obvious that their work has done and gone to great lengths to creating an artificial barrier between the governorships and the common folk, creating distrust, something they will work more easily within than we will.
Brimrose will briefly move at his collar and kind of work at it for a little bit. The Inquisitor's coat is usually very high collared and hard to see behind, but as he kind of moves it to work some, you'll see that there is a long, ugly scar going up the side of his torso and up his neck. The last time I encountered the 20th, I learned some vital lessons. They are not outright operators, not people who work in the light, not ones to deal in the obvious. Stabling the government is something any traitor warband could do with a spare few Marines and enough time. Kidnapping, bombing, it's all the same. If simple terror was their goal, why not drop a few drop pods on the capital city, murder everyone in sight, and send the footage to the rest? No. It's the 20th they're here, and if we know they are kidnapping, their real goal is threefold layers deeper. It must be.
I will continue to investigate further, but it felt it beneficial to your cause to have an advantage over the enemy. And as we were ambushed on our way to investigate the spaceport, something we disclosed to few, and scarcely had the plan in our own minds for a short time, I have reason to consider that official communications have been intercepted.
Brimrose's face narrows, every wrinkle of experience and a long life of trusting literally no one showing on his face. Listen to me well and truly, Acolyte. From this moment on, absolutely no one is to be trusted. Not even me. Any intuition you gain, any insight you find, must be your own. Any asset you acquire, anything you rely on, must be your own. From this moment onward, we are 3 layers deep in a Hydra's nest. A den of vipers around us, and their fangs are already bared. If we are not careful, we are already dead.
Then I hope you have brought the tar and fire, my lord. For we have come close to severing but one head already.
And when one falls,
I am familiar with their axiom.
then you will know this is far from over, and will only get worse.
I am prepared, and with your team sent on the way, I will be readied as best I can.
Keep communication on this line scarce going forward. I cannot trust that anything I say is not passed to someone else's ears.
It's understood. And we are being scarce with our communication as it stands.
3, 2. Now then, I had news of my own, now the static interruption is cleared. It would appear the atropathic way station over Kata 2 has gone silent. And this could be routine maintenance, a rare local blackout, local warp radiation, or something else. Something worse. Regardless, it's notable. And on a planet already beset with panic, it's only set to be another pyre about the fire.
Unfortunately, I doubt you have time or means to move us to this way station to investigate.
Not at current. At the moment, I'm still waiting in port. If you give me some time, I can coordinate a shuttle for you if you need to, but that will be time. And I suspect whatever information we can get to best know our threat, it will still be found down there on the planet.
Understood. We will continue our work here. But I would hope that someone would recognize the danger with an astral pathway station going down.
On a core world somewhere close to Terra, perhaps. On a backwater like this, catastrophe is simply another incident one incurs in their life. It's unfortunate, but it breeds resilience in the people.
Resilience is good if it can be survived. But you have made an excellent point, Inquisitor. Perhaps it is best the people here know a touch of hardship. I have I will await the arrival of your repair team. Until then, I will keep you abreast of any updated sit reps, such as they need be. But I suspect, unless a major development occurs, we will be running radio silent here.
That seems appropriate. Keep your wits about you, Acolyte. Your teammates close, and those you distrust closer.
Of course, Inquisitor.
Ave Imperator.
Ave Imperator, and for those we cherish, we die in glory. Signing off.
With a low nod, the hololith feed goes off-white and then fades into low pixelation and disappears as the Inquisitor disappears.
I think, unless anyone else, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, unless someone else has remained behind, I think Zadkiel would have mentioned, like, oh, I can take this call alone, don't worry, y'all go out and, like, do things and get things and whatever. But, like, he is just kind of, like, let out this, like, long sigh. Just, like, basically sans armor, sans, any outward clothing, just pure black carapace coverings, and himself again, just, like, low kneel, bolt pistol at the facing towards the entrance here. It will not best us. Not one more planet. Not again. And he's gonna kind of grip at a piece of his armor that appears like it may have almost been smoothed over several times, a pauldron that it's almost like looks like almost like a melta pistol made of like smoothed it out at one point. But even then, it's I think if we're controlling the camera here, it's easy to recognize a kind of grip as he runs his other hand over it over the armor bit, where it looks like almost a number of dog tags have been melted in. That may have been at one point wrapped around. And I think that's where my scene would end.
Beautiful. Let's take a quick pass over to Aria again. What do you feel like you're getting into? You don't have to like leave the shack, as it were. You can, if you want to just like talk to somebody or do some thinking, or otherwise figure some stuff out on your own. But what do you feel like would be the goal you're taking here, trying to get a handle on this whole mystery?
I think Aria is... Well, right now she is prepping her Chirurgeon's tools, has been doing her best to sort of piecemeal, trying to assist Zadkiel's healing process along, but has sort of recused herself in sort of like a makeshift kind of, I guess, like medical bay, as it were. Like it's probably like just a really long cot with, you know, bandages and various like pharmaceuticals surrounding it, with tools laid out neatly in as much of a hygienic manner as possible. It's not really that well done in where we are in a shack.
So, you've secluded yourself into a corner of this shack, as you were, set up a makeshift medical shack, and you're kind of mostly working on helping heal up Zadkiel and also keep an eye on things. Otherwise, you're kind of just mostly, you know, focusing on sort of, you know, keeping your tasks focused on things like that. Not overall looking to the overall mystery or checking into any clues or anything like that. Kind of focusing on getting healing done, stuff like that.
I think it's mostly that. I think she's got like a bit of a thought. Like, we did promise to update Captain Rannick on what was going on, but she's not sure how much she should say.
That's fair. Well, you're allowed to absolutely just hold that thought in your mind, especially as Zakiel's currently busy with the communicator, so that's totally fine for you to hold that thought
Yeah.
for a little bit
I
later
mean,
if
we
you'd
do
like
have a
to.
one-way communicator that's like supposedly secure.
That's true.
So I
That's
think
also
she's
true.
like sort
That's
of like
true.
fiddling with it.
So as you're fiddling with that and sort of thinking through some things and considering what's going on, I'd like it if you could roll for me a real quick insight.
Okay. My insight is absolutely terrible, but we'll see how that goes.
I believe in you.
I have one die for this. So if I roll anything less than what good, I got 0. And another 1 on the raft. Seriously, roll
Ooh,
20, you hate me.
another one on the raft die. Oh, ooh, I'm gonna use both of those pretty soon. Don't worry about it. So you're sort of sitting and thinking and wondering, and you're thinking on that question you posed earlier about the ambush and about how they definitely got a handle on that before you all, when no one should have known about that pretty easily. And you're thinking there's got to be something wrong there. There's a leak. There's something. And you're not sure you can get a handle on it. There's too many pieces. The Alpha Legion, those people, if you remember from what Zadkiel and Lara told you after they recovered you, they called themselves the Sons of Truth. Pretentious name. The kidnappings, the bombings, it's all, there's something there. Hey Meg, did you get my DM?
I have now, and give me a second, and I can
Take
give
your
you
time.
that.
So, Aria, you're sitting here considering, looking at Zadkiel off to the side, taking a call with a figure who you're pretty certain is the Inquisitor, but you're not close enough to hear what they're saying. They're keeping their voices very low. But you assume that he's just filling the Inquisitor in, nothing else crazy. Lara sitting off to the side, looking at the kidnapping list, trying to figure some things out, clearly looking at a certain section of the list and trying to fix very hard on it, thinking about it really intently. And here you are, fiddling with the communicator, considering contacting Captain Rennick and wondering what's going on there. Meg, you got me?
Yeah,
What's
it's
that
an
number for
8.
me? Love when you get high numbers. Zakiel's call ends. You watch the communicator go dark, and Zakiel lean back, grip his arm, and let out a hard sigh. Aria, you're still fiddling with the communicator, and Lara is looking at the list. Zad, you hear footsteps approaching. Rapidly. Human ones. And based on your hearing, you assume the person is not large in stature.
Weapon up, holding, but by no means like a itchy trigger finger.
A shadow comes around the corner, really at the rim of your sort of small dugout shack. Could just be a person running by. Obviously, kids are playing around all kinds of other things. A figure rounds the corner. It's a young girl. She stops, still, staring at you, or more accurately, at the barrel of your pistol. Her chest pounding so loud, 2 of you can hear her heartbeat through her chest.
He raises the gun up to the air and off to the side and just lets it down by his leg.
She runs into the shack, diving in as fast as she can, and there's a small sort of like collection of crates off to one corner you all weren't really worrying about. Like, it's actually, sorry, excuse me, Lara, it's a collection of crates that you kind of put one of your medical station tables over. So not Lara, Aria, you've put one of your medical station tables over. She dives into that collection of crates, just fully dives her way into it. Doesn't say a word to any of you, just looks at all of you quickly, doesn't say a word, dives into the crates. Stumbles in as hard as she can.
Child?
Nothing.
Is the
No
psychic
response.
energy coming from her?
So that's the funny thing. Laura, you felt it the moment she rounded that corner. It's not intense. It's not sharp, but it's noticeable. Noticeable because it's wild. The etheric aura of this little one, the nascent flicker flame of her soul, is bright, brilliant. Humans have bright souls regardless. The warp is hungry for them in the same way it is for any other soul. This one is a little bit brighter. She's a psyker. Does she know it? Who knows? She's not actively using any kind of power right now. If she does know it, she's incredibly untrained.
Ezekiel is just gonna continue. Child, identify yourself, please.
The little one is still scrambling. As in this point, she has now shifted the medical table enough to like open to like get to get into the top of the crate. It is now fully fit, trying to put herself inside the crate.
Do I hear any other additional footsteps? Like, is someone pursuing this girl right now?
No.
Alright. I'm gonna just keep...
Are you all right? There's nothing in this crate.
She, as you kind of go to like this crate, a hand comes up, slaps your hand away, and starts to kind of like grip at the edge of the medical table and try to pull it back over. And you can barely hear her saying, "Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up."
All right, all right, all right. All right. Is there something after you? Do we need to put up defenses?
And she says, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know.
Okay, just deep breaths. Come on, follow me. And I think Ari's gonna try to get as deep a breath as she can with a hole in her stomach. In and out. Follow me.
You can hear panicked breathing from inside the crate. She starts to speak again. I can feel them. I can feel them. They're coming. I can feel them. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I feel them.
If I cast my range out far enough, can I get a sense of what she's maybe feeling? Does it seem like there are other, maybe she's also feeling other psychers?
No. But as you pull out your senses, looking for something else, etheric presences, other psychers, even just other humans that are actively on their way, it doesn't seem like you're getting anything actively right now. But as you stretch that sense out, the hand stops and the head slowly peeks up a little bit. You.
I think Aria's just like still holding this medical table up so that she can peek out.
Yeah. After she's casted her reach out far enough to get a sense that there's nothing. In a sense, nothing out there. She retracts it a bit so that she's not gonna be a beacon for them. And looks back at the little girl and tilts her head and says, "So you consent to me then?"
The little girl jumps back a little bit, hearing a voice in her brain that's not her own.
I know it's a little scary. But I can't speak with my own voice.
She sits there stunned for a long while. After a long, slow, rattling breath. I was leaving schooling for the day. I got this really bad feeling up here and up here. And it happens sometimes when I'm asleep or when I'm alone, but it was so bad. Like something, like someone would come after me. I could feel them, I could see them like shadows. I knew I had to run. And I ran to the central district, came down here in the slums, and then I felt something. I don't know. It just felt okay, safer, similar. I don't know, but it's coming from you. What's happening to me?
It's a lot to explain. I can tell you that it's going to change how you live for, well, for the rest of your life.
The little girl sits there quiet for a very long time. When she looks up at you and finally speaks, the voice you hear is not hers, as you were thrown back very briefly into a quick memory. She speaks the words, "I'm so scared." You remember those exact words being said by someone else in this exact same scenario. Well, at the very least, someone else who began to understand themselves in the same way this little girl has to now. Someone you knew once. Someone named Tola Mir. And that's when it hits you. That's what you remember about that person. If you would like to do the honor of figuring it all out in character, please go on ahead.
I think she stares at this little girl for a moment and says, "I know it's scary, but you can control it." And then she looks to Aria and then Zadkill and says, "I know what the connection between all the kidnapped people is. They're all psychers. Just waking up. Or not even really aware that they are psychers yet."
What could their goal be with such a unrefined group of psychos?
Regular psychers like yourself and our mutual friend can control their access to the warp, yes?
Yes, with training you can.
So if they're all new and they're all scared, and you get enough of them, what happens to the warp?
It goes into a frenzy.
And if they're all in one place next to something like a Necron Tomb world?
Or a rip. Such as the tear that's enveloping Kata 2. We don't know if the Astartes are even aware that this is a tomb world. It's likely that they do, but we don't know that for certain. And just about everyone knows about the tear.
And worst case scenario, what do you think could happen? Because I remember with just a few heretics there were a lot of demons.
So Foxy,
you all
it's
mind?
what do you want us to roll?
Do you all mind if I just kind of cut in here, actually, rather than anybody rolling anything?
Do it.
I'm gonna cut in here, and as you're all contemplating on this idea, what could the Sons of Truth be doing with kidnapping psychers? And what does that have to do with this planet? Well, the camera slowly pans away from our cast, from the strange, small little girl, up and away, up into the heavens, and cuts to black, as it slowly remains quieted for a long time. Time is a fragile thing in a beast as massive as the Imperium. Time is a resource to one as patient as I. Time, a voice speaks, has a slow, metal, energized finger, drags itself along a wall and then along a canister. And on that canister is written 4 simple words. Time is running out for this little dust ball and the fetid empire it rots alongside. The figure says, as it pulls that slow, energized finger along those 4 words. Virus bomb. Exterminatus grade. And with that, we're gonna end tonight, funnily enough. So friends, talk about an episode, huh? Totally chill downtime episode with no major issues or consequences to the plot at large, yeah? I told you guys, no issue, no problem, everything's fine. I'll keep this very simple so I can let my friends mull on this for a little while. I'm Foxy. I run this little ensemble of a show, and it's been wonderful to do this. I can be found on the internet at Young Foxy. It's YUNGFOXXII, sometimes an underscore in the middle. And if you want to see more things that I'm doing, hang out right here on Neon Lights Roleplay. I'll do plugs at the very, very end. So friends, if you don't mind, keep it very quickly so we can get our friends out of here for a good rest time. Tell me who you are, who you played tonight, and you okay? We'll start with Turk.
No. Hey everybody, I'm Turk, or Turk Extended. If you want to stick around for longer, I guess. I don't know. It's a long name. Anyway, I was playing Zaki Delos. You're a space marine who is in need of repairs and time off and just maybe somewhere on a tropical planet, but he doesn't even know that in his brain. Anyway, Alpha Legion's monsters inking a bunch of psychers and gonna drop a freaking virus bomb on the gosh dang planet. Oh boy. You know what? I wanted to fight demons. I wanted to fight demons this whole time. That's secretly what I've been building towards, I swear. This is every step of this, I feel like I get thrown some like, oh fuck, you know, kind of shit, and it's been fantastic. So please, of course, tune in next time in 2 weeks' time when we join it. But in the meantime, if you want to follow stuff that I do in particular, I bounce between Neon Lights Roleplay and Lost Caravan RPG. I'm in a bunch of things. On Lost Caravan, I'm part of the Delta Green campaign, which is going to be every Thursday. I am part of an Old Gods of Appalachia campaign, which is every other Tuesday, including this next Tuesday, as well as a Novigan campaign, which is the other Wednesdays according to this one. And then over here on Neon Lights Roleplay, I am a GM and player, of course, in Bioshock Peace here, which will be back on the 29th. But I also run Oathsworn, which is an Odyssey of the Dragonlords campaign, which is a 5e Greek mythos high fantasy campaign, which we just had a very great long high battle in, which we're going to be thinking the repercussions of very quickly in the next episode. Literally, some people may be getting washed off the ship in a storm because they're in death saves. But I also am the GM of a really awesome campaign called Tears of Divinity, which is a sequel to an award-nominated campaign called Frozen Rain. That if you haven't had a chance to check out, you absolutely should, and you should absolutely continue to check that out, because Tears of Divinity Fading Chronicle is but one part of a large multi-show universe that has been created between myself and Foxy and the awesome players we've had at our tables. So there's been Nervous Exodus and Frozen Rain to digest, to understand where we're at, if you ever have a backlog. But the next episode should be on the 28th, which should be a lot of fun. So if you haven't joined us thus far, then you've a lot of downtime to get all that info in between. But that's me. So I'll see y'all next time. Thanks for joining in. Thank you to all the raiders, of course. Y'all are incredible. So keep doing your best selves. That's all.
No, you. First, thank you for being incredible and for always playing a character whose stoicism never fails to allow for genuine emotion to play through when the moments account for it. It's always fun to see you at this table. Sliding on around to my best buddy, Michelle.
Hey, it's me, Michelle. I don't social media, so you don't go looking for me anywhere on there. I played Aria Yun, our sister Hospitale. Okay, I was expecting demons actually, and I guess we got something else that is worse, arguably worse, actually.
You might still get demons, to be honest. I ain't gonna lie to you. What?
Yeah, we maybe, instead of one cluster truck, we have two. Maybe three. Probably three. Everything comes in three. Misfortunes comes in threes. But you can find me right here next week on Monday for The World Within You, our Voidheart Symphony campaign, GM'd by the legendary Vermin. So look forward to that. I get to be an actual cat, which is great. So, Looking forward to it. Otherwise, we'll pass it along to our wonderful friend Meg.
Hey, that was my
Hello.
job. Hi, Meg.
Hi, Foxy. Hello. I am Meg, and/or Meg Mysteria. You can find me as such on Twitch, on Twitter, on it. Sorry, I'm dying. I got to play Lara Talon, also known as Edovara Talone. As far as what I've got coming up, you can see me this Sunday on Singularity Roleplay for our Breaking Neon game, where I'm playing a mom who just got reunited with her daughter. It's sweet. It's definitely not heartbreaking like it is over here. You know. I'm having successful reunions, not boyfriend in rock.
Hashtag boyfriend rock battery.
Boyfriend rock battery. Well, you know, I also have a red bubble with a sticker that says Foxy killed my boyfriend and put him in a rock, so.
Buy it.
Yeah.
Everyone
And
should buy
all
it.
I-
If this is my legacy, I'll take it.
Correction, it says Foxy killed my boyfriend and all I got was this rock. It's a good sticker.
I'll take it. It'll be my legacy. I'll kill all your boyfriends and put them in
It's
rock,
a good-
friends.
It's a good sticker. It's pretty good. Anyway, after that, you'll find me back here, I believe, for not only the next episode of By His Shadow Peace in 2 weeks, but for Lancer, for Fading Chronicle. We'll have our first episode. Because I don't think we're doing the 0.5 episode, are we? We're not showing that one?
I'm gonna air it before then. I was gonna do a thing about that. I gotta. Don't worry. Shh, I got it.
Okay. We're gonna see about that. I did hand Foxy the knife. I said I can handle more pain, and he gave me more pain. So you know, I did.
It's true.
I did it to
Happy
myself,
to oblige.
and it was, yeah, I did it to myself. But after all that, we'll come around to June, which in the beginning of June, which should be the finale episode of my heart and soul gay camp Runners Cross, where, you know, of course, we're saying the joke again. It's not a hate crime if we're all queer.
Okay. That's the tagline. It's like it goes on the poster. You know, it's in the trailer.
That's going to be the next sticker. But that is me. Let us send it back to the wonderful Foxy.
That's me, Friends and Foxy. I'm on the internet, like I said, at Young Foxy. I've already mentioned that if you want to see more stuff that I do, keep it locked right here on Neon Lights. I'm on a bit of a downtime from things that I'm GMing. In fact, the only thing you'll see me GMing on screen for a little while right now is, well, one, this campaign as we move into the finale of our arc. As we move to the finale of the game, sort of slowly but surely. And secondly, as you see me running some one-shots, namely a one you'll see coming up in a couple of weeks, but you'll see promo on that just soon, so hold tight for that. I'm obviously in Tears of Divinity, hanging out with our good buddy Turk and some other people doing some great stuff in the Lancer universe. And I'll be other places, but understand that while I'm not here on screen, I will be behind the scenes in Neon Lights roleplay, making it perfect for everyone as best as I can. If you want to be a part of what Neon Lights is doing and hang out and play some cool games with us, and also maybe get yourself on the screen, it'd be great to pop over into our Discord. A link is right over there in the chat. We'd love to have you over there. We love hanging out with the new people, so please join us there. If you want to keep up with what we're doing online, check out our socials. Links are right there in the chat as well. So go ahead and hit us up on the site formerly known as Twitter and now called. So find us out over there. And otherwise, I've been Foxy. This has been my cast. We've been By a Shadow Peace. This has been Neon Lights Roleplay, and you have all been incredible. Please take care of yourselves and each other. Have a wonderful night. Bye, everybody.